Can you hear me now?
Hello. There we go. Dun dun dun. Ba, ba, ba. Alright. And where is chaos? Spectate. Boom. Oh, okay, so we're getting right underway here. And we're gonna share my screen to you. And bada bing, bada boom.
Alright, here we go. First round bans. Tiamat Gilgamesh set. Pretty standard. I saw firsthand the damage a good set can do today, so I like seeing that banned out. So Colin, always a strong solo. Chiron. Pretty annoying. People don't want to deal with it. And Athena's pretty standard here. We have an Odin being picked up. Seen a lot of Odin recently. The cage being super strong. I see him being just very hard to kill with his shield and high cooldown. Makes him a lot to lock down. Double knockups pretty much. Pullables for a Wheelix. Fafnir ban.
Oh, I almost put the wrong team there. Fafnir ban. To be
On her ban comes out. I mean, that's another knockup. On her, like I said, always a very good pocket pick from most ADCs. Super comfortable. You don't want to give that to him.
Yep.
Make him go a little bit into their god pool.
Make him dig a little.
Exactly.
Alright, and Osiris and Raijin.
You know what I want to see? I want to see someone pick an Isis mid. Let's change it up.
I mean, ESET, because,
Oh, that is true. I'm very old school. I also say Hebo.
Yeah, that one word's banned on Twitch.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Way to just give in and let him win.
I'd prefer not to get this channel banned. Just a preference,
Fair
Jim.
enough. I'm not gonna say you're giving it to terrorism, but
Zeus. Oh no.
oh, Zeus combo with Odin Cage is a tale as old as Smite Alpha. That has been around since day one.
Now, no one really can get out of the cage.
The Wheelix jumps out. The Chernobog, I don't believe he can actually jump into the cage wall itself.
No, so, the only person who gets out is the Awilix.
Correct, and that will be using her mobility. Now, a lot of things people don't know. Zeus actually has the second highest damaging ult in all of Smite if you hit every tick of that lightning storm.
I kind of like the Mages team comp so far. We have an Artemis, an Achilles, an Odin, a Zeus, and a Loki. You're locked in the cage. You're not leaving.
Without knowing beforehand like I do, who's the support here?
I would think it could be an Achilles, it could be an Odin. Both can flex in the support role, both can flex in the solo lane role, so it's really going to be up to who's
If
more
I'm
comfortable
red
where.
team, I have no clue which one's going where. I'm gonna pretty solidly say the Loki's gonna jungle, Zeus is gonna mid, Artemis gonna ADC. And the Hercules picked up for red team. That's another pull for the Elix to combo off of.
Yeah, I will say, you got the Sobek pluck, the Herc. But aside from that, for that Awilix setup, you do have to worry very much about, because if someone
Honestly,
beads... You can't get the knockups.
Just off of picks and bans, I'm still giving the edge to red team. Just of overall comp, that Chernobog, a lot of people forget that he has a global ult. He could be across the map to help his teammates.
Oh boy, and oh, he didn't show the stars he has on Zeus. Sag.
I didn't get to see. I saw a lot of stars on the Chernobog, or on the Artemis, excuse me. But
It's only 8 stars. The Zeus has like 23.
that's a lot of time on Zeus. Hopefully, he's well versed. That god has been around since the beginning days of Smite. So, if someone is proficient in Zeus, I would be scared to see it.
Bop, bop. Waiting for everyone, finish connecting here. But okay, so based upon what we see here, we know what Artemis is gonna build. She has the best stim in the game.
Yeah, without a doubt. What is that? An 80%? I think at max rank.
Well here, let's just fact check ourselves before we say much. And
I
also,
do have Smite game open up on my second monitor. Let me just type that in real quick.
yeah, fact checked, before we. Actually, we even have the Smite game itself open here.
Vengeful Assault, max rank 80% on the Artemis stim, yep.
Even base level, even if you don't level it.
40, correct. That's a lot more. If you look at the Chernobog, I think his might be 40 at all ranks. It's his 2. It's his 2. No, his goes up to 60, 40 to 60. So, like, in just a straight out man fight, auto for auto, she will hit once or twice more in that fight than he will.
Well, yeah, he caps out at about her level 3 mark. She just keeps going.
Exactly.
And
to add to mention that hers is a movement speed increase as well, where his is just a flat attack speed only.
Yep, and it even with combo that with Tusky hitting you for 6 million damage, we love to see it.
Exactly, and like it's not even the fact that Tusky stuns you, right? Just beats. Tusky is then in the way. He is blocking at least 2 autos, even late game when you could kill him quickly.
Well, even then, when you can kill him quickly, he's still run around your whole team and stun him at least once.
Exactly. Like he's disrupting. He eats autos, which in the 1v1 for ADCs is very important. Every auto counts.
Yep. And we do see he's gonna start with his crystallized crystal.
Right. Yeah. It gives him the best clear potential. I mean, some people make argument for his 2, get the steroid, and it hits the whole wave. I do like the 1 that gives a zoning feature. I believe it is more damage overall with the detonation coming in at the end.
Yep, and then you have his dash, which his dash really does suck for base scaling. Like, dang.
But like people forget that his dash slows, so you can use his dash aggressively.
Yeah, but most people won't use.
Correct. They use it as that mitigating factor. I mean, if he's quick on the draw and she tuskies and he's near a wall, he can evade the whole ultimate just by chilling in the wall.
Yes. Okay, that should be. Oh, hello.
Can you go to items so we can see some overall builds at the start?
Yeah, let's see here. We know what this is.
So we see Fighter's Mask coming out of Achilles. I want to say that's Achilles solo. No, yep,
it is.
Sure is, because there's Odin support.
Having to pause there pretty early, as we do have
having some connection issues. Some good old high res probably, but I won't say for sure.
And Zeus is going to start Vampiric Shroud. That is going to give him a little bit more sustainability than
Honestly,
the Yanis.
If I'm the Zeus and I see this, I'm expecting a Wheelix to outclear the Loki and show up early. But it'd be interesting to see what he builds first. I'm going to say he's going to go for that Magus early, more lifesteal, and potentially going into a lifesteal build.
That is true. That is very true.
I like the cooldown start on Giannis. Just get his CDR going out the gate. He could go for the coin. He could go for the Chronos Pendant. 30% CDR at level 5 or 6 is a lot to just be running around the map with. Sobek knowing that and guessing correctly that it was an Odin support, decided to go Phantom first Relic.
It is very much a gamble there if you're like it is going to be an
correct. Because if it would have went it the other way, that is a completely useless relic to them.
Until you upgrade it, which then.
Correct. Then the damage mitigation comes into play, and that's a large percent of damage mitigation that could turn a fight very candidly.
Zeus is gonna
Both
out clear Giannis.
Giannis, as he should. He throws it down and then he autos the shield. The shield then hits every minion in the wave.
Oh, we do
Hercules
see.
taking a lot of poke early, but he does pick up the Achilles.
Yep, the Achilles and Herc both going Fighter's Mask there to, give themselves
Correct, and I mean,
property
like I said,
opportunity.
Hercules does have one of the strongest early games of every character in Smite. He can very much stat check you.
Yeah.
Also, something you gotta realize, Hercules went multi-pots, I believe, while Achilles went HP pots, which does not stack with your Chalice.
Oh my. That Giannis getting spicily low. If Zeus had detonate, I think that Giannis was dead to rights.
Oh, for sure. If he had the 3 stacks on him, that would have been enough. It would barely, but it would have been enough. They're looking to trap anybody coming to look at him. The Willix is on to their cheeky ways, though, and backs out.
It's very interesting to see how they're playing this because the Zeus is playing such high pressure. And there's some more just bounces, and there's the detonate finally used there as Giannis is half health. I don't think he's been above half health since he.
No, something I'm very hesitant, and I don't recommend to mids. Don't go mana pots, especially when you have such a high MP5 start. Go the multi. Go some health, go multi-pots. That is the best fighting start for any mid.
What's interesting?
Because now his sustain is in the toilet. He has no way to heal up outside of going back to base.
Yep.
You can always get mana back from A, waiting, or B, having your solo laner prioritize his totem.
Speaking of totem, we do see Herc is going to take it to give some mana back. And Achilles, I don't think is playing for the laning phase. I think he's playing more for the team fight phase. Oh, out comes the pluck on the Artemis.
Oh, that's a great pluck. Owen jumps in to help peel out his Artemis, gets a good spear stun. Well done on his part. Artemis able to make it back to safety.
Yep. What's interesting is, Odin able to really peel it, and Artemis's HP really hasn't changed.
One thing I find interesting, if you're gonna go 5 health pots like the Odin does, just pick up the Chalice. 50 more gold and you're set for the rest of the game. As far as money efficiency goes, that is inefficient.
Well, it is Wolfman Sam, so, efficiency is not key.
Oh, Wolfman Sam definitely just loves to fight. As a personal friend and great Smite player all around. Would not recommend to him.
Would not recommend, and we do see, Zeus steadily pushing his lane. But on the other end, we see Giannis is still very low. Giannis has not backed because he's.
Does the Loki have Blink?
Loki does have Blink.
I would be very hesitant to still be around as this Giannis with such low health.
Yep, and this Giannis is like, I need farm.
Yeah, but what he does have is mana, so he can go to all these camps. I mean, he has the mana capacity to do so.
As there was a kill picked up onto Chaos tonight.
I think what happened was that Chaos hit level 5 just a few minions before Blue Team did.
Yep.
And they were able to capitalize off of that.
Yeah, they gain a little bit of a power spike there as, base stats.
Correct. Base stats, a little bit more base HP, and I mean, that's enough in a completely even trade.
And Zeus does have full mana. He is rocking a roll.
Right, and we gotta remember, Artemis 2 gives attack speed, but so does Chiron 2. Excuse me, Chernobog 2. And Chernobog 2 does damage. So they give the same amount of attack speed level 1, so Chernobog does have a small advantage early game.
Yep. Compared to the Let's Go base scaling, we have 140 there compared to Chernobog for this crystalline.
Right, because I don't even remember what Artemis passive is offhand, but Chernobog auto passive is great for boxing. It is increased fucking damage just for every auto hit pretty much, and on that third auto I believe it does a percentage of your total health.
We do see Giannis very low as he was like, I really.
Still sticking around. I'm actually a little disappointed that nobody was able to pick him up. He's been hovering around that quarter HP mark for the past few minutes, just maximizing his farm.
Yep.
Can we see can you throw up a total gold right now to see what the farm is between that Zeus and that Giannis?
You mean like
net worth.
Where's that Giannis?
Zeus still ahead of him, just barely.
Yep.
Not willing to give it up for not having health though, so kudos to him for sticking around.
Yep. He's
High
really.
risk, high reward.
Yep. You know, you gotta make sure you get that farm because you can't let your enemy laner, you know, get ahead. Unleash the fury!
Right, not for free.
Nope. Not for free. You definitely do not want. We do see Artemis is somehow level 6 before Churn.
I believe that the enemy red team support left a little late, so she got a wave and a half of solo farm to herself.
And we do see pings a little bit of coming out. Supports
Right,
both.
that's probably a warning ping saying, hey, they're there, be careful. Loki, I see you in the jungle. Know that they have 3 people right there that are more healthy than us.
Are you ready?
What's interesting is Achilles, I think, later game, outboxes Hercules just with item, depending on how they're.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, if we're gonna take it down to the last auto for auto, great Odin cage, the combo with Zeus Salt. Thankfully, he had the Phantom to get him out, but it's not gonna be enough. Enough stacks that the Zeus Salt came down onto that Giannis to get the detonate kill.
And Churn rotating.
Zeus getting extremely low because of the Sobek. Oh, that'll be enough. I think Sam might fall here if we get a good pluck off the Sobek. There it is. Oh, what? Ult, no.
No,
Sam able to get away by the skin of his teeth. He was in deep trouble there for a minute.
This Churn, I think, is gonna focus kills more, but this Artemis is looking to just farm and hit 20.
Correct. The Artemis needs to be able to just fight better. Also, if we look into that solo lane, we see a full breastplate, 20% CDR coming out of the Hercules, while we see a Warrior's Axe, which I personally feel is a great item, but the Cudgel, what would you think that's turning into?
I think that's
a Rune Forge?
Rune Forge. I don't think Achilles benefits from a Frostbound much.
I don't think he benefits from a Frostbound much either, and I mean, the damage increased after he gets done hitting you with his stun? Risky pickup for him, especially now that he has that one death already before he started building it. That's something I would have went into, so we'll see how well that plays out for him.
Yeah, it does give him a lot more mana and a lot more.
That is true.
Yeah,
a lot more.
He might just look to try to stat check a Hercules.
But with the Hercules having that lead and having that flat defense, it's gonna be hard for him to do that. The Hercules will hit harder, but once again, like, Achilles has an execute. So at a certain point, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, at a certain point, you can hit me harder, but I'll still execute you.
Exactly.
Before going from putting a point into his ultimate, leveling the heal instead to try to out-sustain Achilles. And we do see a kill there by the Loki onto Jeering Lamb there, saying, okay, you can rotate a little bit. Sobek going for a pluck there, but Giannis ult coming out. Not hitting the mark there, but the B is being forced out there, leaving Owilix a little bit more free to hit. Zeus is gonna look to play a little more passive now, just
Unleash the fury!
At least, maybe he'll look to play a little bit more passive.
Positioning. If we look at ward coverage right now, blue team has a lot more wards on the map than red team does.
If we take a quick look.
Yep, look at the sentry being taken out.
Zeus really warding up his mid lane though to make sure that he is safe and content in his
right. If he's gonna stay around, he doesn't have that mobility the Giannis does. He can't afford to just hang out at low health like the Giannis can. If they jump on him, he has nowhere to go.
Yeah, he is kind of forced to go, okay, hello there, eat my damage while you try to kill me.
Correct, and the sledge comes out of the Achilles.
It does crowd control reduction, you know, they are looking for a little bit more of a CC heavy team comp, so
it's nice. We see the Hercules is just gonna build into that I'm here to face tank whatever you throw at me, bringing up the wing blade.
Rushed, and then another pen item by Zeus, so it's kind of like, okay, you can build tanky, but let me solve that problem for you.
Exactly, mages, you almost have to now. Everyone's getting defense. First item. You gotta come out of the gate swinging.
And what's interesting is Churn is doing maybe like a hybrid of, you know, the attack speed build and crit?
See, Pegasus? I believe that's what I was confirmed is Pegasus build. You go attack speed and you go at least one crit item. So he has the Ickle Ball, so he can continue to fight the Artemis. The Artemis is probably going to go into an Aussie next. Well, he goes into crit.
He goes into a rage. He's looking to kill this Artemis.
Correct. And I mean, the Artemis, even with Aussie passive auto for auto, if he hits at least one crit, she's not going to lifesteal a double autos amount worth of damage. So he will win that trade.
And we did see Tusky was used, and it is interesting though because, you know, as you said, his passive does help in the boxing, but his ult doesn't help for boxing.
Not initially, but you gotta look at it like this. If he ups down quick his cooldowns back, or he gets extremely decreased cooldowns, so he could throw a whole other kit at her. Which early game the abilities do an equivalent amount of damage to your ult. He gets that damage mitigation. She's slowed.
And she has put a level into Tusky.
Unleash the fury!
And that is a max Raven shout, meaning that he has a
Is
big
Raven
shield.
Shout the jump, or
No,
is
that's
that
the
the shield?
That's the big
Right.
shield.
Oh, yep. I mean, and that's honestly what you should level as Odin support. You want to be around as long as possible, eat as much as possible.
And then we do see Detonate Charge being maxed there as, you know.
It's pretty standard with the Zeus build.
Yep.
That's going to be your main form of securing any sort of damage.
And then we do see, you know, Hercules really doesn't benefit from maxing his ult there, but
Right.
Hercules does. And Chaos soloing him again as the Willix looks for the kill here.
3, good knockup. Oh no, the beads. I
And
bet her
Odin-
feather step was down, otherwise she probably would have secured that with a feather step right there.
And little bit caught, and we see that this Odin just chunks here.
Oh no, that was a very immature Odin cage because she still had the Suku available.
Yeah, as you do see Sovek in the zone here.
Oh, that is a very dead Artemis. Even with that shield coming, the shell coming out, it's not going to be enough.
And
Base damage on Sobek ult is very high. It's almost 400 at level 1, I believe, if you want to look at it.
quick like any, I believe he is maxing it out, so
300 plus 80%.
I mean,
Doesn't
he's
have a lot of power, I mean, but...
450 because he's got 2 points into it, so he does.
Oh, yep. So at least 400 of true damage to her. No problem. That'll be enough to take her out.
But that was I believe, a 3-man rotation for the kill onto the Artemis there. But both ADCs had ended up dead.
Did I miss this? Oh, no. Chiron? I mean, Chiron. Chernobog. Too many C's. Chernobog picks up a girdle as his second active. The Frenzy now. Frenzy. That's what it's called now.
I don't think the Frenzy is the play on Chern.
I don't think it's the play either. I would maybe like a shell?
I don't.
Maybe an Aegis? Maybe?
He is losing the auto for auto trade with the Artemis there, so and there oh we missed a kill there in the mid lane as Grenadian Bacon picks up the kill there on Tubby Follower.
Correct. And you gotta remember, like with a Wheelix, if you're on Suku, you cannot ult. So if she would have not been on Suku, she might have been able to pull the Odin into the tower. Wouldn't have been enough to kill him either way. So she just rides on out of there. Meanwhile, on the solo lane, they're going at it once more.
Ping's coming out as we do see a Loki in the zone.
Right, that is a great ult out of Odin. The Wheelix ulting the Odin, but once again, he's just such a big boy right now that it's all for naught. Tusky gonna come out, pick up the Wheelix. The great stun.
Oh.
Sobek with Relic Dagger and Gauntlet already online. He has a lot of HP and built. He's just gonna walk away.
And we see Hercules trying to steal a little bit of farm.
You look out of city of Troy failing me to slow
Look
down.
at, and very much in the solo laner fashion, we're not gonna kill each other anytime soon. We're just gonna slap box for a while, see what farm we can get out of each other.
And they take the Gold Fury there. I think the Gold Fury call was a good call there. You know, get as much farm, take as much farm as you can. But
If we're gonna talk about it though, ability for ability, Red Team does have better secure technically on said Gold Fury. The Onassault does hit harder than Zeus Detonate, but not by much at this rank. Zeus Detonate, what, he has 3, 4 points in that right now. Yanassault has 2 points. The
Zeus
Detonate
is
actually does more
maxed.
damage. Yeah, it's 180 plus 25%.
180 plus, and then you have to add the pass.
Times 2.4.
It's big.
That's gonna
numbers.
be a 500 damage. Now, what's Yanassault at?
You have 375.
Yeah.
And then it
It's gonna be equivalent, but one's an ultimate and one's just a standard ability.
Speaking of Yanis,
Getting
gonna go
poked
back
out
to the
once
fountain.
again by Zeus. Yep.
this Zeus is proving to be peaceful, kind of showing that he is a menace on Zeus, and why.
Honestly, you would have to have sit on that Zeus early and often. You would have had to have capitalized the fact that Zeus can't go anywhere if he gets pounced on.
Even with someone building as much HP as Sobek, he still does a quarter himself.
Oh, for
And
sure.
Hercules-
Loki, a very ballsy Hercules play there, throwing the boulder.
Yeah, you see this. As they
Do we see a Zeus ult? No, Zeus ult's still down. Sobek all gonna really be ineffective there. Oh, Sam just a hair behind on that Odin ult to try and capture that Sobek.
You see, Artemis is in the area there.
Witness true power.
A little bit off the mark there, but peaceful still.
Yeah,
being
that's
big
a
numbies.
lot of damage coming out of that Zeus. He has double pen out the gate, one of which is a spear that went onto him that increased damage is just gonna delete him.
You see, Artemis is literally just gonna say hello to a tower. And
Yep, Artemis ADC things are being done. Goodbye objectives.
goodbye towers. And we do see she has her Atlan's bow online, and I believe this turn is going to be
That's
rushing.
a wing demon.
Watch yourself.
I would be very surprised if that doesn't turn into a wing demon.
I would also be pleasantly. Would I say pleasantly?
Unpleasantly? Depends on how you view it. I mean, he's not. I wouldn't see reason for a Shuriken. They don't have a lot of healing coming out over there. He could go the anti-damage one. What is it?
Toxic or whatever.
Yeah, whatever the name is, escapes me right now.
I think it's
To mitigate some of the Artemis damage potentially, but if I'm him, I'm just gonna capitalize on my damage. Go for the winged.
Yep, you know, each crit you hit. And I think he might be trying for a full crit build here with that little power.
I mean, so far no Spectral, and we're probably gonna see a Spectral picked up on this Odin right here. If I'm a betting man.
And if you are a betting man, but I don't know if you are.
Well, we shall see. I'm gonna say Spectral's getting picked up. Stop the
form.
Chernobog damage before it even comes
How
out.
it's done.
Spectral's base stats, now that it gives health, is very decent. I believe it gives 60 physical defense, also very good.
Yeah, I do believe so. And we do see, you know, a little bit of like, you know, walking around, checking objectives, seeing what's up, what's not.
Right, something that a lot of players are doing. Like, look at all these wards that are coming out. They know that objectives are about to be the turning point for either team.
And speaking of wards being placed, you know, the warding game has picked up on both teams as Zeus and Giannis making sure that there's little center of heaven there in the mid lane. Red
Right.
team,
Almost just as important as hitting abilities or positioning is game knowledge, and knowing where people at are at any time is a great help in any fight.
yeah, as we do see the Artemis is level 18.
Biggest level in the game right now. Just looking at the level difference, that's 5 level difference from the support. You're gonna be chunking him at this point.
Yeah.
She has 20% CDR from the Atlantis bow, another flat pen from the Aussie.
Yep.
The oboe coming out surprisingly from her. That's gonna hurt the overall damage just a bit for the next few minutes until she can get it's that silver branch online.
Yep. And what's interesting, you know, is we might see a Shoguns being picked up here eventually. And I think I know
Right.
why the Fafnir was banned. Because, you know, if you put Fafnir Stim plus Shoguns plus Artemis in one game, what happens?
That's 50 stacks on silver branch just walking around.
Yep, and we see
Oh, great Odin blink to cage all those people. Do we see a Zeus ult? Yep, there it is. Chernobog gonna fall because he jumps out of the wall too soon. Eats that damage.
Killing spree.
Phantom comes out, but it's Giannis ult coming out. Not really effective. Maybe to help get his teammates out, but most of his teammates just die too quickly. That Zeus is hitting hard, and now that he has that Typhon's built, more lifesteal. Going for that full lifesteal build. And increased pen.
Yeah, it's
Doubly so because of the spear pickup, lifesteal, star item, lifesteal.
gonna see the Zeus detonate there, just confirming Fire Giant, you know, just in case Giannis had a second already.
Yeah,
we do see that Achilles and Odin, like, they both just face tank things. They
Correct. And the Odin is blue team is just so ahead at this point that I feel like Sam was like, you know what I would benefit more from? CDR. So he picks up the breastplate. More shields instead of decreased damage from one person. Honestly, the right call.
Yep, and we do see
If the
win.
Chernobog would have turned that rage into something fantastic and been critting, he might have changed his build. But right there, that's the correct pickup.
I'd say, you got the rage, you have one stack on it. You have your Wind Demon, and then your Hidden Dagger, which I think is gonna probably go into
Right.
a Deathbringer.
Probably into the Deathbringer. I'm sure you're correct on that. But now with the changes this season, that doesn't give any crit chance until it's fully built.
Yep. And Odin, or not Odin, Zeus, Achilles, they're zoning.
This is a very risky fight for Red. Blue team has Fire Giant, and they're trying to fight into that. Blue team will win the sustained fight, and Giannis will get caught out. Maybe he finds a wall. He's gonna fall to the Zeus. The Tusky just stunning everyone along the way. That's gonna be a dead Sobek now that his dash is down, and the Wheelix ulting, but it's also gonna fall. Sobek able to get out as they decide, you know what, Wheelix is a little bit more of an important target. We will take her sacrifice instead.
Yeah, this Artemis is a bit of a raid boss right here, along with that Zeus who literally, if he looks at you, goes, hello there.
Right? And I mean, if we talk about it, Chernobog has no sustainability. He has no lifesteal on hand. Not enough to keep him in the fight. He doesn't have a defensive relic outside of beads, so once they're on him, they are on him. Zeus dropping his ult and Artemis just paling away. That will give game 1 to the blue team.
Yeah, and we did see the Loki falling there at the end, but I'd say, oh, he almost had 420.
Just cheated.
We do see a phenomenal game played by both sides, though. You maybe swap up the builds, maybe swap up who's going where, maybe swap. Just try to maybe see where you can run it differently. But if you're on the mages, what are you looking to do?
Is Mages the blue team? Is that correct?
Yeah, the Obsidian Knights. I mixed it up.
If I'm on the Knights team, obviously, like, I'm not gonna say we have the better players, but we definitely have smarter plays coming out. Just they didn't capitalize off of what they could have early. And so we were able to capitalize. The Loki coming out with full CDR out the gate, the Awilix coming out with full CDR out the gate. I didn't feel like the Loki was super impactful like the Awilix was. Like the Awilix definitely could have pulled better ultimates to try and pick people, and I just don't think they set her up properly.
Yep, they did try to have alts that relied basically on a Willix was picked, and it looked like they were trying to get a full knock-up team comp as you have the Sobek and the Herc just there to smack.
Right, but I don't think I saw a Sobek blink tail whip into an Awilix ult that whole game.
Right, I don't think so. I think it was off of the Herc Earth.
Right.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of his two, the knock-up one. But I think the stats say it all.
Giannis, just not Giannis 5K, but the Sobek did 5K. I mean, it's super unfortunate. I know, and what I saw from that game, a lot of his portals mitigated the damage from his unstable vortex. Because he either didn't think they were going to fall into it, or just filed the unstable vortex too early. So, like, his two didn't connect to really combo off the damage. But if we look at him, Donlin, unfortunately, he's relegated to 2,000 damage. That is nothing in a 30-minute game, in a 20-minute game even.
Yeah, you look at the numbers there, and Hercules, having a slap fest in solo, getting that 8K player damage.
Right, and he probably got the majority of that while he was in solo lane. Just Jeering not able to put out enough to counter everybody else throwing damage down their way.
Yeah.
Next game, I would like to see Red Team pull a mage that has better circles, more AoE than a Giannis. Giannis isn't completely singular focus, but all his stuff is in lines.
Yeah.
So if you miss the line, that's it for your damage. something a little wider to help contain more people. And potentially, like M. Domlin could go for a more active assassin. Wilix can choose to jump in, but like in that game we saw when she went in, she got blown up by the Zeus, just held down by the Odin.
I mean, yes, Zeus has no mobility, but you also got to remember Zeus can hit you for big numbies.
Correct. And he hits you consistently. He'll throw down the shield at his feet and dare you to come at him. The moment you feather step, he will chain lightning and he will detonate, and there will go your whole health bar.
As we saw, even in the early game, he didn't need the detonate to kind of prove to that Giannis, like, hey, I'm here to hit you with numbers.
Correct.
But we do see, no fault to much of any. Like, we do see the stats show everything. We do see 13 wards come out. I think the mid lanes had a total of 28 wards put together. So they really
Correct.
did not want anyone touching their lane.
Oh, for sure. They had complete vision. And I mean, that's as a Zeus, that's kind of what you have to do, especially when you can get held down by the mobility of the enemy team. The last thing you want is to get jumped on without knowing that it was coming. I'm a huge fan of Team Active's second if you're ahead. I feel like that frenzy really hurt Jeering Lamb. I also feel like he should have timed his dashes better. He didn't stay in the wall long enough to avoid a lot of damage that was coming out from the blue team. He had triple stacks of detonate, which he could have mitigated if he just hang out in that wall to watch to see if the Zeus was going to detonate. You have omnidirectional ability to leave once you come out of that wall, and the dash lasts for quite a few seconds. Honestly, with the lack of amount of time Zeus has been played in this season, I feel like they were just unfamiliar with what he could do.
Zeus is not played as Zeus is not very much in meta. You know,
Correct.
you
So
don't.
like he was probably an unfamiliar factor if you haven't been playing the game for years to know what Zeus is just capable of.
Yeah, Zeus is very much one of those mages where he's a powerhouse unit and meant to be feared.
Correct. He does what most immobile mages do. What Hyres has done to help immobile mages is just make them hit harder.
Yeah, I
People
mean,
who don't move just hit harder.
you look at Cuckoo who just builds mana, and then all of a sudden you're like, what happened
Correct.
between?
He at least has a two. He has a slow cleanse. He has a little something. Once Hyres took away the personal shield movement speed on Zeus, they just gave him more damage. They did what they did to Anubis. Anubis will wreck you if you just let him sit there and wail on you.
Yep,
So will a Zeus. But the downside is they're not going anywhere once they do.
yep, and we do
They
see the typical bans too. I think you can see that, right?
yeah. Sweet. Team like Gilgamesh, always solid bans. Knowing what was done on a Zeus, I would hate to see what would be done on a Tiamat.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting because they ban out the Ode and they're stopping Wolfman Sam from running it back.
Honestly, the Odin did cause a lot of problems for them. It caught a lot of their teammates out through the majority of that game. They just had nowhere to go. They were stuck in that ultimate. The only thing you could do is potentially pop a phantom, and that was if that person was correctly standing near the right side of Odin Cage. A lot of things had to go right to save them from the Odin ult.
Yep. And Artemis is going to be first picked again. So they're allowing Artemis back through. They're like, Artemis wasn't the problem. Zeus wasn't the problem. It was the Odin that caused the problems.
And they may have been right. I mean, without the Odin Cage to hold them there, the Zeus ult would have been a lot less effective.
That is true, but the Zeus ult's still cramming down
Oh,
your throat on a
yeah,
Titan rune, yeah.
it's still gonna be a huge zoning ability. It's still gonna be a huge damaging ability.
Yep, and we do see,
A
Scylla's picked up.
Scylla's always super strong. She's very safe with her three. Sentinel will let you get out, will let you get through walls. A lot of damage. Cullen, arguably, in my opinion, the best solo laner right now.
I would say Kakalin is a very decent solo laner. He's got a leap, he's got a stun, he's got a
A
intox.
rage form, a health shield, a knock up, an intoxicate. He has 50% anti-heal on his one.
He's overall, high res.
Just strong.
High res made a very angry Scotsman.
That they did. Very much.
I am interested.
Freedom!
I am interested to see what the mid lane's going to be picked up to
Does William Wallace credit to
mhm.
his people.
And we see an RDO picked up here, and
Just personally telling you, Sam's RDO is very solid. That is going to be an annoying pickup because Sobek can't pluck anyone. Scylla's not going to be able to dash away. There's stuns coming out, the healing coming out, the rooting. That's a lot. That's going to be strong for them. And RDO Cucullin is a very strong front line.
Yep, RDO's got the sustainability. Cucullin's got the HP bar. You build
Correct.
mana
And
off
with him getting blue buff, that's just HP 5 for him. He's just sitting there regenning everything. With a Sobek, he's free to pick up the Stone of Gaia, which will give him even more health regeneration. He's almost guaranteed a proc if a Tail Whip comes out.
and a Guan Yu picked up, but Guan Yu
And
also.
the Cucullin?
I think Guan Yu into a Cucullin. There is worse matchups here.
Yeah, honestly, Guan Yu's probably gonna come out with a blue stone, while Cucullin might come out with a fighter's mask. So we're gonna see is base damage or tick damage gonna be the turn here.
Yep.
And it's really if Cucullin can get his rage form stack. As soon as rage form comes out, he just wins the lane. Level 1, level 2.
Honestly, yeah, rage form, especially late game, doesn't matter as much when you have full builds on the ADC who just decide, yes, I would not like you to exist in my face any longer.
Correct. But that early game, that is a total game changer. That is a whole new set of abilities he gets. That's a health shield he gets, and now with rage form, he can stop Tallow Assault.
Yep. He's got the stun. He's got the root in that rage form, so he can. And they ban out. They ban the Yanis and the Elix.
The Oelix, interesting. Which didn't seem like problems, but it definitely seemed like something that could have been a problem.
And they, on the other side, blue team banning out a Set, an Onher, and a Nemesis to round things out. Set and Nemesis one of the best AA gods, I would argue, in the game.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, if you're a frontliner like an RDO and you get hit by a Nemesis ult, that Nemesis just got 100 protections for free. You just lost a bunch of your protections.
For free.
So she turned into a tank. You became 50% of a tank. Ooh, no, he's trolling.
No way, no.
Please do. Please do. I want to see it. Yes. Pick the Anubis.
To be fair,
If I'm them, I go with Thoth. Raijin, also a solid pick.
he's kind of just showing like, hey, here's my god pool. Try to ban it.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to ban mid laners out. There's just too many options.
Honestly, and we do a
Fenrir.
Fenrir, a very good diving, like, hey, I want to dive the backline.
See, last game I was gonna give it to red. This game, just based off comp, I give it to blue.
That RDO
Hun Bats could pull 5 sets of beads, while Fenrir can only pull 1. RDO, go ahead.
Oh, you also got to take into account the fact that Raijin can pull beads on himself too.
Exactly. If we're talking about beads puller, Hun Bats for sure. Artemis almost for sure. RDO even, like, generally.
I mean, if you don't want to get smacked in bear form by an RDO.
Correct.
Red comp's hella strong.
I think this comes down to Jeering Lamb rotating to help his team with that Apollo wall. If he doesn't utilize that global factor that he brings, they will be in trouble.
I'd say, I still would give it to the blue team, though. You do have... Oh, of course he has stars on Raijin. Why wouldn't he have stars on Raijin? Because, he life Zeus.
Hey, he's got a few in the back pocket that he's well familiar with, just in case the old school Zeus comes out. While they are loading in, I will be right back.
I might go make a sandwich.
Oh yes.
Make another sandwich. for them to load in. Of course, things swapped around. What's so for about dinner? Whiskey for my man, beer for my horse.
Minions have spawned.
Oh, hang on, gotta.
Starting with Vamp Shroud once again.
It's his favorite item, didn't you know?
I guess. I mean, Scylla will win the initial clear just based off of the additional damage that Conduit Gem will give her. And you seeing that I don't know what either of these teams are called will give them the appropriate team titles so I don't sound like an unlearned person.
Oh, wrong one, wrong one.
That will help.
Yep.
Interesting, they did the reverse of what I thought. The Cucullin comes out with a blue stone while Guan Yu comes out with the fighter's mask. Well, Fenrir a little late to the gut. Like, Honbass already has mid camps cleared by the time he finishes those.
I do. They have the exact same start, you know?
I don't know what happened. I know what Fenrir did buy a hog. I don't know if he was laid out the base or what happened there, but they're gonna see a lot of that middle neutral farm to Obsidian Knights.
We do see, that Ryzen's wave clear.
And you see health bars? There they go. They're
Yeah.
delayed for me. There we go.
It wasn't delayed, they were hidden.
No, I see.
You're dismissed.
And we do see, you know, Guan Yu trying to put pressure on Cucullin, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that initial Talus Talk just clears better.
Not so fast.
A good pluck, a good shell coming out, the root to help peel out for the Artemis, the heal to then bring the Artemis back up. Sam maximizing the capabilities of Artio at level 2, that's 4 abilities versus the enemy team's 2 abilities. Early Rising gank if they would have taken that. Scylla's gonna get some good farm though. A failed gank is just farm potential. However, Obsidian Knights does have all that neutral farm because of how fast the Hunblatt's cleared out the gate.
Got Hunbat's clear is, you know.
And there's nothing to joke about, especially with the change that they made about a year ago to the monkey toss. The monkey toss now bounces very much like a ring toss and will hit multiple times on a camp.
You know, you gotta get as much. Gotta micromanage your DPS to make sure you can get as much out of it as you can. Especially as a jungler.
Oh yeah, jungle clear speed. He forgoes clearing the speed buff to share blue. Did they think an invade was coming potentially?
I think so because you know they tried an invade last game, so they're like maybe they're
Right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being safe. He's not really gonna lose out on a whole lot. He'll just farm it on the reverse side. Probably head over to the HP buff after that. Maybe grab the mid farm. I would always say neutral farm is more important because that will be lost. The farm that's in the back of your jungle is pretty much generically safe.
Unless you know it's a hyper aggressive jungle. For example, this Hunbat's he might have been able to invade already.
Oh, for sure. He definitely had an opportunity or two with just how fast he cleared. Artio coming mid. Gonna hug the... Oh, she's not gonna be able to get out. She has to pop her beads there. That is a great free beads for Sam.
You know, gotta pull them beads, and that means Hunbat
Exactly.
is...
Hunbat's now level 5 is probably going to be looking just to sit on that Scylla.
He's licking his lips in anticipation of going, no
Correct.
beads?
If I'm Boonie boys, I'm playing very hesitantly. Scylla has very low mana. It's not going to be able to dash out if she even can. And then if that Hunbat Stout comes down on her now, she's probably going to be SOL.
Yeah, you do have a lot to worry about, especially when you know that Ardio's lockdown stops a lot of your escape.
Exactly. You could throw the Sentinel, but you can't teleport to it. And it does have a timer. It will run out.
Yeah, and I think Ardio's Cripple Field lasts for, I think, basically the same amount of time as the Sentinel.
Correct. And I mean, you can instantly teleport to Sentinel. Good Sobek plug. Apollo Mez coming out to get him some protections. Fender jumping in. Grabs the Artemis, but she's gonna go down. Jumps out. Sam is sundered on that Artio. A great blink out of the Fenrir. They're gonna do a lot of damage. Great Mez coming out. Sam gonna get that heal up and be able to get a caught with the 1.
Art and Raging Kip sound.
Transcendence coming out of the Apollo versus the Ichabod coming out of the Artemis. Starting now, I'm going to be very hesitant to fight, yes, that Apollo. Even with Meds giving those additional protections, which will help in the boxing match, he's still going to lose the auto for auto trade because Artemis has Ichabod.
Yeah, Artemis kind of saps your power as you kind of sit there watching her as she bleeds.
And as your power gets sapped, hers increases. That less the initial power trade, but the power flux that comes with that item is just insane for early game boxing.
And it also reduces attack speed.
Exactly.
So, you know, especially early game when you don't.
And I mean, and we talk about, like, one thing that is huge for me, and I like to talk about for ADCs, is combat ultimates. Artemis has a combat ultimate world. Apollo does not. If you guys are boxing, in the middle of the boxing match, Apollo just can't ult. He will die. Artemis will get 3 or 4 autos on him for free winning the match. He has a non-combat based ultimate, while Artemis will pop her ultimate in the middle of the fight. Tusky will stun you, pull your beads, and at least tank an auto or 2. So she has 4 abilities she can use in a 1v1, where he generally only has 3 that he can safely use.
And I mean,
if all things are equal.
Yeah, you see Tusky immediately pop there.
Oh, yep, he has to, and that's what will happen. I mean, combat-based ultimate. He dashes in aggressively, pops the Mez, but she pops the Tusky, getting CC immunity, doesn't even get Mez. Now he's stunned, then she throws down the trap, he can't go anywhere. Just will erase him. That is a... overcasted it. Sam will still fall though. A very good tower dive, potentially. Just not enough damage coming out from the Obsidian Knights.
Oh,
Apollo ulting in the mid. This might be what we were looking for. Should be a dead Raijin. There we go. And that's what I was saying beforehand. Jeering Lamb has to utilize his ultimate just like that. He gets soloed in his ADC lane, but he's able to pick some farm up in the mid lane. Utilize that global ultimate. It's passive. That right there is a perfect utilization of an Apollo ult.
Yeah, you know, he has to take advantage of that Apollo ult. He doesn't have an ult to, you know, fight Tusky. You know, you can't throw hands with Tusky.
Nope. Tusky is there to fight while Apollo ult is there to get me places. And Artemis is gonna fall here as the 3-man gank from Boonie Gangs just says, that is my purple buff. You are in the wrong neighborhood. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
There we go. My game volume cut off for a second. Mystical Mill coming out of Cucullin's a double proc off his 2. I always like to see that on a Cucullin. It's just a lot of walking damage that it's hard to fight. Whoa. One, he goes for the breastplate. 20% CDR, a lot of physical defense, gives you a decent amount of mana.
Like that there.
Oh, this is gonna be a huge Raijin ult. Yep, Scylla's gonna go down here. If I am them, I'm gonna TP with that.
Oh, Apollo,
Fenrir
I think,
initially missing the ult, but is Apollo gonna be there to help clean this up? A huge on bat salt. Shell coming out of Sam. That's gonna be a root. Guan Yu riding in to be the savior of time. Maybe Guan Yu picks up the RDO. That he does.
they do pick up the RDO, but Cullen here ready for cleanup crew number 1 as
Right, because he's gonna catch anybody that wasn't cleaned up in number 2. The Apollo ult coming out to go back to his lane, catch up on some of that farm that he missed. Artemis is just a day late and a dollar short, running around in the jungle with nothing to do.
see, you know,
Oh, want to jump to that dual lane real quick, see what happens right there.
oh, Tusky coming out.
Yep, Tusky is gonna come out. Apollo's
gonna
gonna
box the
barely get
minions.
away. Yep.
Tusky showing the minions who's boss.
Yeah, Apollo knows he has no chance of fighting her right now. He's just safer just farming up. Seed her the tower. And Artemis is definitely gonna take advantage that Apollo has no ult. He had really low mana, gonna take the T1. That's gonna even up the gold deficit for Obsidian Knights.
It actually swings it a little bit in their favor.
That it does.
Sobek plugged.
Sobek plucked, but I mean, what is really obtainable here? Does Fenrir have blink? Without the blink, he's not gonna catch that Artemis. She procs too and just runs away. Oh, pre-beads the Fenrir ult. Great beads.
You know, not allowing her, you know, to be caught there. If
Yep.
Fenrir had blink, you know, he might have been able to.
That was a kill. If Fenrir had blink, that was a kill. He would have gotten in range to hit the brutalize. That would have been pretty much most of her health bar. And then the ult damage itself probably would have finished her off from there.
And Raijin,
He did. Honestly, I'm gonna say there's a dead Raijin here. Just ult. Oh no, the Scylla ult missing. If that Scylla ult connected, that was a definitely dead Raijin. I mean, he's probably gonna die anyway, but yep, there he falls. The Scylla definitely could have lived if she would have hit that ult. Sobek can't pluck the RDO with that available, so they're just gonna walk away after killing the Fenrir.
Yeah, it is very weird to see Apollo still trying to force something through this mid lane.
I mean, his tower is down. He's almost much like Artemis is free to rotate now. So is he. His tower's down. She will be very much out of position if she pushes for a T2.
Yep, she's instead gonna look at this draw to get a little bit more passive farm going, as you know, a failed gank is XP lost.
Exactly. So he's gonna pick up some neutral farm. She's gonna pick up some neutral farm to try and just stymie any lead the one could grab over the other. And if we look to that solo lane right now, that is a huge fucking kill.
You aren't going
as we see.
anywhere.
Sobek can't dash out. Ardio's gonna stun. If I'm Sam, I'm looking to body block the pluck right here. Unfortunate.
Scylla's kind of looking to get some more farm here. maybe
Those
kind of-
mids.
yeah. Looking to pick up some extra XP here, but you know, Raijin
Yeah,
taking
Obsidian
the-
Knights down in kills, but up in farm by 1,000 gold. That one tower really is the only difference between the two.
Always find your farm, you know.
Exactly. Like, neutral farm is very important. People, like, for me, I always, as a mid laner, I always ask my solo laner, prioritize totem over your wave, because totem gives an equivalent amount of farm as one wave to you, but to the whole team. Not to mention the sustainability that it gives your whole team.
Yeah, especially with the mana you can regen back, it can make or break a fight in the mid lane.
Exactly.
Artemis is gonna
It's like,
pick up-
I would recommend give up lane pressure as a solo laner to get totems. It is just that important to the rest of the map.
I just realized Tusky's base scaling is 100%.
Oh my goodness.
Tusky hit hard.
Dusky does hit hard. What build did the Artemis go? Did she go the Ichabod attack speed build? That
Yep.
she did. So not as hard as she would be hitting if she went an equivalent build to the Apollo. But as of right now, cheering Lamb. I think he just favors that frenzy. You see him picking it up again.
I don't think the frenzy is the play though. You know,
I don't think it is either.
it does. As much as I want to say it's I love frenzy.
It's
but
a
not on
great
my
active,
list.
but
ADC.
just not on the ADC, you know. Give
I-
yourself some survivability, Mr. ADC.
By an Aegis, by Shell.
Buy a shell, like honestly, like shell perfect. Boxing potential, insane. Team fight potential, fantastic.
Imagine,
But it's like give yourself something to survive with. That is big PP aggro energy. which I'm a huge fan of, but not on my ADC. Not like that.
Speaking of, ADC thing, the ADC gap this game is things coming out, but trading.
Right? Can you pull up that gold value per person? Was it
here?
net worth? Raijin, Hun, Bats are like, just look at that. Everyone on blue team, with the exception of the support, is worth more than everyone on the red team. Good. Raijin ult, that's probably gonna be dead Sobek. Apollo coming in to say, get out of my tower. But does the Scylla ult connect? Oh, it does, but it's not enough. It might be enough. Once that comes down, the Brutalize will come out from the Fender. Oh, decides to go off. The Tusky, and then the Guan Yu ult. This is gonna be a nasty Guan Yu ult. Scylla does follow the Raijin who Aegises. Fender brutalizes his Artemis. It's not gonna be enough though, as the Raijin damage just shreds him down. The Guan Yu is now in trouble. He can't dash through. He's just gonna fight it out and fall.
Ultimately, that was a 4-for-1 trade. Actually, no, it was a 5-for-1 trade because Sobek fell early.
Just respawn. Yeah,
that is a free Gold Fury. If I'm
the
on blue team.
Obsidian Knights just maximizing off what their abilities can do. Just Sam on that Artio cancels half the abilities on the blue team. Excuse me, on the Boonie Boys. Sobek can't pluck. Fenrir can't use 2 of his abilities. Apollo can't dash.
Scylla can't leave.
Yeah, it's like that cripple literally kills half the available abilities of the Boonie Boys.
You stop a lot of potential from coming in. Like, if Guan Yu had been able to dash, he might have lived.
Right? And if we're just gonna talk about builds right now, like Sam is 3 levels ahead of the enemy support. A support diff of that magnitude is massive. That is a whole defensive item. We see a Shogun's coming out versus what is probably
Pesty.
a Talisman.
Could be a Pesty, could be a Talisman.
I would like to see a Talisman there.
Oh.
The anti-heal isn't super effective, and the enemy team has a Talisman. The Relic Dagger, something I always like to see. Relic Dagger on supports is massive, helps your team out a lot.
It is interesting to see, like, Chaos seems to know how to push his lead in this duo lane. He's not leaving much farm left on the map.
No. He knows Apollo's going to have access to more, so he's just taking what he can get and running with it, knowing that his team is generally winning the rest of the map.
Yeah, and what's in? Just those 2 autos connecting from what we saw. Chunk.
Right. I mean, at this point in the game is when the Transcendence build doesn't outbottle the Ichabod. He's behind now. Like, he doesn't have that Exy finished. She just hits harder, faster, and stronger than he does. He has no chance of winning that fight.
A fight kind of started as Guan Yu looked to ult the Raijin there.
Poland with the 3-man knockup right there. Humbat's probably gonna drop the field. Sobek pluck into the deep. Oh no, that Sobek pluck was very bad for them. It threw Humbats into the middle of all the carries, to which he was just like, oh, thank you, good sir.
Free ult coming, and we see Apollo coming in on this fight. Cullen going in saying, hello, I would like a piece of you.
Nope, Sam popping the shell as they're gonna deep dive this Apollo, and that is gonna be it. The nail in the coffin was that pluck on the Hunbots, honestly. Knowing that the Hunbot still had an ultimate available, like, I don't know what he was thinking there. That is the best positioning a Hunbots could get. He didn't even have to jump. He was there for free. He's like, oh, I thank you, good sir. Drops the monkey, and there it is.
Yep.
A mid Phoenix for free. Sobek is in there with a good blink. The Tusky. The Tusky stomps any advance that Boonie Boys would have made right there. They're gonna back without getting the Phoenix, so honestly, it is still a successful defense on the part of the Boonie Boys.
Trying to look for numbies.
Yeah, just look at the difference in mid laner damage. 17k versus 5k. That is a massive difference, and honestly, I probably attribute that to the missed ultimates on the part of the Scylla.
Yeah,
She had quite a few that could have been team turning fight.
Yeah. I honestly feel like if Scylla hits ults, you know, even if she doesn't kill you with her ult, she still deals so much damage. Did your computer like just restart or something? Oh. Okay.
And it got caught on my on my chair, so it just ripped it right out of the computer.
You have the heal of the go on you, but and it was a pestilence.
It was interesting, baby. The audio heal, I guess.
They want to stop the
I-
audio heal.
That's
Rising.
I still would have liked to have seen a talisman there.
Honestly, maybe I think maybe a talisman could be more effective than this pestilence. You know.
Right, because like I don't see the Sobe getting a lot of use out of that pestilence like he would out of any of the other items in that tree outside of Bulwark. Raid coming out in the Hun bats. He is feeling himself. I mean, he has 20% CDR. He has a little bit of pen with the Jotuns. Hun bats is just looking to kill carries right now. That's his build.
He's looking to make sure Apollo's game does not continue.
Correct, and I mean he's capitalizing on the fact that like Scylla's behind. He's just gonna slap her. The Raijin gonna really damage the Scylla, so ults out to get that increased movement speed just to run away. She doesn't want to get taunt ulted by the Raijin, so she's just gonna pop off and be like, I'll be back later.
I will be back to not catch your hands.
Pretty much.
I'll be back when I have HP to spare.
And if we're gonna like talk about actives right now, we have a Thorns Blink coming out of the Guan Yu, nothing really defensive there. We have a Sunder Blink coming out of the Sobek, nothing defensive there. However, on the Obsidian Knight side, we have a Shell, defensive. We have a Horrific, offensive and defensive both once it's upgraded. And then dual blinks off the other members.
Oh, we see an engage here as
The Raijin is gonna race the Fenrir. Hunbat's 3 coming out, maybe giving himself some better positioning, potentially, but he does not choose to take that.
I mean,
Knowing that they're down. That is a 9k gold difference. Across board, that is almost 2,000 per player, which is at least a tier 2 item, potentially a tier 3 on the right members.
we see
Scylla
flags.
did just get her rod finished. Hey. I don't know if you noticed, but last time Sam said I was the only one that builds Pythags, and yet here he is picking it up.
And we see Tusky coming out, finishing off the kill onto the Fenrir there.
Guan Yu pops the Thorns, Raijin pops the ultimate.
Apollo opting.
Oh,
again.
taunts him back! That is huge! The Apollo will fall here.
Yep.
Because of that great taunt. Oh, great Scylla. Oh, now with that rod passive coming in very clutch, it will erase the Scylla. I mean, we'll erase the Artemis. The Scylla was now hitting just as hard as the Raijin is.
I still think that Raijin hits a little hard.
Oh, he definitely hits a little bit harder, but Scylla's base numbers, initial burst, are higher than Raijin's. Raijin has a lot of tick, like his 1 ticks, his 2 ticks, his ultimate ticks. So Scylla initially does burst harder than the Raijin does.
It's just interesting to see his base scaling compared to, you know, Scylla's base scaling, which has 75, 85.
Right.
And for a mage who has mobility, Hi-Rez really just went and said, you know, I want numbers.
And honestly, like, Hi-Rez does the thing where they release a god, and then they release a better version of the god. My point in case, Hades, was a great god. The better version of Hades is Baron. His heal is better. His pull is better. Everything he does is just a bit better. Scylla is just a better version of Kokoken. The ults hit just as hard, except Scylla's resets if she kills someone.
I kind of wish Cuckoo's ult reset when you killed someone. Imagine that.
I would not want to see 2 Kokokenauts coming down the lane, good sir. And I'm a mid player. I still would want to see that.
I would.
Although, I would say, like, if you kill someone, 50% reduced cooldowns on the rest of your cooldowns would be nice.
I don't know, I feel weird being too ult.
Right, because, I mean, Crush, with the increased passive against that max rank, does the same damage as a Tick of Tornado. Scylla has almost a teleport, while he just has a big cleanse.
Boonie boys managed to steal that, though.
That they do. What did they get that with? The Guan ultimate? Just a drive-by?
I think it was a drive-by. As Colin
Fenrir needs to ult right here if he's gonna be able to get any of these kills. The Boonie boys just need to take their win and run.
They're
Take
trying
the
to
win,
run.
good sirs, as they peel out of there. That's a great route by the Scylla. They're gonna get out, even though they lost one. They traded them out. 4v4. Boonie Boys has secured the fire, which will cement their defense.
Oh, hey, we finally got a stack of rage.
That is a great stack in raids. Also, if you look, Obsidian Knights used to be up 9k. Now they're up 8k. The Boonie Boys should look to fight here as...
What?
Oh no, Jeering Lamb does get picked by the Artemis and the Raijin.
That is
Neither of which had ultimate. They were just waiting there for him. That is unfortunate. No ward coverage, no teammates. They still gotta know that the Obsidian Knights are ahead of them. All the Fire Giant does at this point is make the fights equal. It definitely does not give them an advantage yet.
Yeah, especially with the way this Raijin has built himself, because he is like a mix of...
Right, he has a lot of HP. I mean, oh my, what is this? No, I think he decides to sell the Typhons to get that base percentage damage increase from the Sacrificial Shroud. Yeah, he's going that full lifesteal build. He's going to be hard to take down. His sustainability just skyrocketed with that.
Yeah, especially with
And
Sacrificial Shroud.
And if we look, Artemis just got her upgraded Shroud. She is at 28 base stacks. She procs her too right now. That is 80% attack speed increase. She's going to be looking at almost 70 stacks on that bow. That is going to be an insane power spike. Not to mention, yeah, look, she stepped near Sam, 40.
That wasn't even near Sam.
Oh my goodness, what did she do?
Odibo, I think.
Odibo doesn't give increased attack speed though.
Oh, this does. This effect
Oh, the
increases-
Atlantis bow.
Yep.
55 with Sam here, yep. That is ridiculous. She's getting so much power from that oboe just based off of her teammates right now.
Yep. It's like, okay, hi guys, I would like to
Okay,
snack.
so with no one around, 28.
Yep.
And then that's gonna get bumped up to 50 with Sam next. And as soon as she procs her too. Oh,
Yeah.
because of the Hunter's Cow too. Yeah.
Because it gives the base.
Wow,
20.
that is gonna be a massive power spike for her.
Yep.
Oh no, Scylla caught out in a horrible position right now. She uses her dash right into the middle of Hunbats, who's gonna drop the Fear No Evil. Aegis Beads coming out, and Scylla, Raijin gonna come out and taunt the Fenrir back in. Fenrir jumps, Scylla comes out, missing everyone. Fenrir's gonna run away. Sam chases, but oh, Sam able to pick up McDonald's. That's unfortunate for them. The Sobek blinks to safety. Sobek, you gotta get up this tower, buddy. You are 1v4. All your carries are dead. You are the last man standing. That is it. I'm gonna say left Phoenix goes down here. Mid Phoenix goes down here. They actually could probably end off left Phoenix.
I think they can just.
I think they can. I think this might just be game one right here. Yep. The call to the end has been made.
Your Titan is under attack.
I want to see what this Artemis OD. 83 stacks. Oh my goodness. That is it. No crit came out on the Apollo. He went for the dominance instead. At no point do you win that trade, good sir. Is that it? That's game 2, right? Or is that game 1?
I think that's game. That is game 2 because game 1 was a dub.
Yep. That's Obsidian Knights 2-0.
And you know, we're gonna get the screenshots from the game so I can vote my MVP here. You know, looking at the stats again, Peaceful Mind.
28k, just doubling what his counterpart putting out. But look, Chaos 2 Knights also doubling what Jeering Lamb put out.
It's like, hey, I see the numbers you put out. Let me double it.
Right. I mean, Madom 8k were Bacon did 10k. I mean, there wasn't a huge difference there. I didn't see a huge difference really in the jungle pressure. The solo pressure, while Moose had more, I didn't see a large difference. Honestly, I saw a lot of good ults come out of Fable. For like a Fire Giant steal, for like just general team fight.
I think it more came down to, ward coverage, because if we look at this, there's more even ward scores compared to, you have some jumps, some decreases.
Mm-hmm.
I think it came down to who had better ward coverage. They got the objective stolen, but they were so far ahead. It's a fire giant.
Right. Honestly, like if I had to give match MVP, I think I give it to Peaceful Mind here. Just the Zeus first round, just a force to be reckoned with. And even the Raijin, a lot of Raijins forget for some reason that one of their ults taunts. We saw him very utilize that very well. He brought people back into the fight so they couldn't escape, so they could get those increased picks.
Yeah, and we do. I'd honestly agree with you. Like Peaceful Mind, just even for playing an immobile mage who could be easily dove on, he played that basically where you couldn't dive on him.
Exactly.
You have to fight the whole entire front line to get to peaceful. Is I think where his positioning and mindset lied of I don't want to get caught out here, so I'm not gonna make it so I can easily be caught out. You're going to force
Right,
everything.
he had fantastic ward coverage all the way around. He's like, I know I can't move fast, so I want knowledge of who's coming to get me. And then he just cemented his lead. The first game, Tubble didn't have the HP to contest any of those neutral farms. He stayed to just farm what he could, but then neutral farm starts to stack up, and eventually, like around level 10, that's an additional level you get just from neutral farm.
So honestly, do you think banning the Odin was worth it?
I'm gonna say banning the Odin was worth it, but it's not like you were banning out anyone's god pool with that ban.
No, I think Wolfman Sam just went, you know,
That's okay. I can play a bunch of other stuff anyway.
and what's interesting to see is,
I feel like the Odin ban was much that Boonie Boys didn't want to fight that again. They didn't want to have to work around that Odin. They wanted to fight something they had fought more often, whether that be an Ardia, whether that be a Ymir, something they were more familiar with.
yeah, I do agree with that 100%, and thanks to everyone who watched, and it was a fantastic game to watch.
Yeah, it was very, very good.
I will catch you all later.